In 1959, 9 experienced Soviet hikers walked into the Ural Mountains and never came out. When rescuers found their tent, it was slashed open from the inside. Their bodies were discovered scattered across the frozen landscape, some shoeless, some missing clothes, in temperatures as low as -40 degrees Celsius. For over 60 years, the official cause of death was a compelling natural force. But what force leads seasoned experts to flee into a frozen hell? The answer isn't aliens or a Yeti. It's buried in the science of what snow, gravity, and fear can do to the human body. The internet is filled with terrifying theories about what happened at Dyatlov Pass, from secret military tests to supernatural encounters. Separating fact from fiction requires focusing on two things: the original 1959 Soviet case files and the groundbreaking 2021 scientific analysis that provides a credible, data-driven explanation for what went wrong. It all began on January 23, 1959. Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old radio engineering student, led a group of 8 other experienced hikers, all students or graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, on a grueling winter expedition. Their goal was to reach Otorten Mountain, a trek classified as Category 3, the most difficult. These weren't amateurs, they were certified, Grade 2 hikers with extensive ski touring and expedition experience, venturing into a landscape they understood. On their 10th night, February 1st, they made camp on the slopes of a mountain named Kholat Syakhl, which ominously translates to Dead Mountain. It was their last camp ever. They planned to send a telegram on February 12th to confirm their safety. When no message arrived, search parties were dispatched. On February 26th, they found the tent, half buried in snow, and the first anomaly in a long chain of them. It had been deliberately cut open, but from the inside. There were no signs of a struggle, only footprints from the 9 hikers leading away from the shelter and down the slope. Why would 9 experts abandon their only shelter in sub-zero weather? The first 2 bodies, found a mile away under a cedar tree, deepened the mystery. They were stripped to their underwear. The initial assumption was foul play, but the cause of death was hypothermia. This introduced the first chilling scientific reality, a phenomenon called paradoxical undressing. In the final stages of freezing to death, victims become confused and feel an overwhelming sensation of heat, causing them to remove their clothes. 3 more bodies were then found between the tree and the tent, also dead from hypothermia. They seemed to have been desperately trying to return to the tent. But the real horror was discovered 2 months later. The final 4 hikers were found in a ravine beneath the slope, buried under snow and lying in running water. And their injuries were catastrophic. 1 had major skull damage, 2 others had fractured ribs. But mysteriously, there was no external trauma, no soft tissue damage, as if they'd been crushed by an immense force. This is what baffled investigators and led to the official verdict of a compelling unknown force. For decades, this fueled conspiracy. But in 2021, scientists from Switzerland published a peer-reviewed study that finally modeled the conditions on that specific slope. Their data showed that a rare, delayed slab avalanche was not only possible, but likely. A huge, dense plate of snow could have slid down, crushing the back of the tent with immense force, enough to cause those exact internal injuries without breaking the skin. This explains why they slashed their way out. The entrance was buried under tons of snow. Panicked, injured, and in total darkness, they fled. They couldn't see that they were running away from their only chance of survival. The scattered bodies weren't a sign of a chase. They were a map of 9 separate, desperate fights against the encroaching cold and the disorientation of trauma. So the unknown force wasn't a monster or a military weapon. It was gravity. It was a specific type of wind on a specific slope with a specific combination of snowfall.
The 2021 Avalanche theory provides a logical, scientific explanation for every bizarre detail: the slashed tent, the crushing injuries, the scattered bodies. It closes the case. But solving the what doesn't diminish the why. Why does this story still haunt us? Because it strips away our sense of security. It reminds us that no matter how prepared or experienced we are, nature is an indifferent force of immense power. The Dyatlov story isn't a supernatural horror, it's a human tragedy. We can now stop sensationalizing their deaths with tales of monsters and look at them for who they were: brave explorers who fought to the very end against an impossible situation. Their final actions weren't madness, they were a testament to their desperate will to live.
For 60 years, the world looked for a villain in the Dyatlov Pass mystery. A creature, a secret government, an alien. We searched for something to blame, because the alternative is far more terrifying. The truth is there was no monster on Dead Mountain. The hikers weren't running from something, they were running for their lives. The real story isn't about what killed them, but about the terrifying, razor-thin line between life and death. It's about the 9 agonizing individual struggles in the dark against the cold after the world had already ended for them. The most profound mystery of Dyatlov Pass is not the unknown force that killed them, but the incredible strength of the human spirit that fought for every last second. The Dyatlov case is a powerful example of how science can solve a mystery that haunted the world for generations. But even with a logical explanation, the story remains deeply unsettling. What part of this tragedy sticks with you the most? Is it the paradoxical undressing, the crushing internal injuries, or the simple, desperate act of slashing out of a snow-covered tent? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you appreciate deep dives that separate fact from fiction, subscribe for more investigations into history's greatest puzzles.